So here we have this VEVOR garden dump cart. Now, full disclosure, this was sent to me for free, but the opinions in this video are my own. Alright, and there we go. There's everything that came with it. There's the big dump bucket, a bunch of metal parts for the frame, a couple handle pieces, 4 wheels, a bag of netting, an instruction manual, and then this bag of nuts and bolts along with a couple wrenches. But anyway, let's go ahead and build this and then I'll test it out. First, we're going to install this handle with 4 of the shortest bolts. I slid a tire under it to raise it up. Then I inserted all 4 bolts from inside the bucket and tighten them down. Next, we need to flip over the bucket and put on this big metal bracket. And to do that, we're going to use 5 of the shortest nuts and bolts. And when you're putting this on, make sure those 2 large holes are oriented towards the center of the bucket. Now we can attach the pivoting part of the metal frame, and that just takes 2 1 3/4 inch bolts, each with a washer and lock nut. And make sure not to tighten these down all the way. And then we can flip that up and attach this assembly with the wheel posts. And this takes the 2 longest bolts. And then we can attach these 2 diagonal braces with the 4 bolts that are left. Now rotate the bucket back to the side with the handle and attach the rotating wheelbase. And make sure to put that big orange plastic washer on first. The wrenches included were too small for this nut, so I had to use a crescent wrench. Now we can easily slide on the wheels, and to hold them on, they just take a washer and cotter pin. Flip this thing over, and then we can attach the handle with a pin and cotter pin. Alright, and there we go. I got it all put together. Pretty simple. Oh, and it also comes with this net with a hook on each corner that you can use to hold your load down. This is the 1,200-pound cart, and it has a nice big plastic bucket. It measures about 22 inches wide, about 34 inches long, and almost 10 inches deep. As you saw in the build, it has a nice sturdy metal frame, these big 13-inch tires, a pretty large plastic handle that makes it really easy to pull around, and if you undo this pin and stick it in here, you can hook it onto something like a 4-wheel. The handle can turn about 270 degrees, so it has a pretty tight turn radius. It also has this nice big handle to lift it up and dump it. It's super easy when it's empty, but we'll try it out with some weight in it in just a second. Also, it does sort of clip onto the frame, so it's not just going to dump itself. And something I already really like about this cart are all of these slots on the side. They go all the way around, and those are going to be really helpful to extend the bucket height so you can stack stuff a lot higher in here. Each one measures about 7/8 by 2 1/8 inches. They're 2.5 deep, and also have these holes at the bottom that you can use to screw into the wood. It fits a 1x2 pretty well, just a little bit loose. Might be worth putting a shim in there. Anyway, let's go load this up and see how easy it is to pull around and dump out. Alright, so I filled it up with as much firewood as I could. It is dry firewood, so it's not the heaviest, definitely nowhere near 1,200 pounds. But it rolls around in either direction just fine. Also, here you can see that really tight turn radius. It stays balanced and doesn't fall over. That's great. And it's just really sturdy overall. And then it was time for the biggest test, which is how easy is it going to be to dump out? And I can honestly say I was a bit surprised at how easy it was. Like I said before, it's not the heaviest load, but I feel if these were soaking wet logs, it would still be just as easy. So yeah, the wagon can roll around really easily, can handle a bit of weight, and overall, I'm really happy with this.